Okay, so in language and linguistics, to categorize the meaning of a word, we can do it through morphology, phonology, or even through categorization. For instance, we can apply this to many things, whether it is to animals, gender, or even ages. However, we can also categorize words through a lexical relation. So what is lexical relation? Lexical relation are the connection established between one word and another. For instance, the word like big and large actually have the same meaning, while the word female and male are opposite to each other. Therefore, this creates a significant relationship between those words. Although this may be true, some words can also have unmeaningful relationship. The reason for this occurrence can be seen through the words like cafe and coffee. Well, which this actually creates a certain lexical relation that can inform us the exact meaning of those words.
Hi everyone, my name is Alya Binti Yayah, number metric 147276. For my part, I will be explaining about the lexical relation to explain the meaning of a word. But before I start, I'm gonna inform you that the language that we're gonna use of example today is first, obviously, the English language, and the second language that we're gonna use is the Iban language. So, in lexical relation, there are 6 types of lexical relation. First being the synonyms, second, the antonyms, the third, the hyponyms, fourth, the homonym or what we call homophones, and the fifth is the polysemy, and lastly is the metonym. And that is the 6 types of lexical relations. So to further explain, me and my friends are gonna explain in detail about the 6 types of lexical relation to show the how words are convey and to show the meaning of a word through these 6 lexical meaning. Okay, so for the first lexical relation that we're going to explain is synonyms. So the first lexical relation is synonym. So synonyms is a word that means exactly or nearly the same as another word in the same language. For example, in English language, a word such as attractive and appealing, or words such as awful and terrible, both means exactly the same. While we also have words that's nearly the same, words such as and finish. The words might means the same, but it's not exactly the same because for the words and, it means it is over. So a situation might be over. And the word finish is when you are completing something such as a task or anything, but in the end both words still means the same, but it's not exactly the same because it might be interpreted as a bit different meaning. So another example, which is our second language, which is the Bahasa Iban. Bahasa Iban also has a synonym. One of the synonym that I can find in Bahasa Iban is the pronoun words such as you. So the translation for the word you, the pronoun you, is di and nuan. So both di and nuan are the synonym for the Bahasa Iban. and both have the same meaning, but the only differences, both have exactly the same meaning, but the only differences is how we use them in our daily conversation. For example, the word nuan is more formal and polite, while the word de was used when we are conversing with someone we are familiar with, we're close with, and we use it within an informal situation. So, that is synonym, and that is. I guess that is all for me about the type of lexical relation and synonyms. We'll move on to the other person, my friend, and goodbye.
Hello, my name is Diyana Binti Abdul Aziz. My metric number is 147541, and today I am going to explain about antonyms and hyponymy. Antonyms are words that has the opposite meaning. For example, happy and sad. But there are more to it than what we have learned before. So antonym is gradable. There are a few types of it. The first one is implicitly gradable pairs. The second one is complementary pairs. And the third one is relational pairs. The first one is implicitly gradable pairs. Implicitly gradable pairs are words that related to the object they modify. They does not have an absolute scale. For example, the elephant is small, but the mouse is big. Although we know that mouse is already small, but at that moment the mouse is bigger than the rest, which is why it is easily detected as big. Although the size of it does not stay usually. There might be something bigger than that. Like example, elephant. Although the elephant was described small, it is actually a big animal because it can grow up bigger, which is why it does not have an absolute scale. Other examples are like fast and slow. For the even example is angat and celap. Angat means hot and celap means cold, which means both temperatures are not going to stay for long. The next is complementary pairs. The existence of these pairs are that it denies the other one. What it means is it's incomparable. For example, alive or dead, which means you cannot compare whether it would be more alive or more dead, because that is the definite words to describe a person how they are, which means either they are alive or they are dead. There is no more than that. Another example that will be in Iban is present or Another example is male or female, which means if you're not a male, you are certainly female, which means no in between, such as alive and dead. For the Iban words, that is datai versus ndadatai, which means datai means present and ndadatai means absent, which means you are either present or absent. The last one is relational pairs. These pairs display symmetry in their meaning. For example, she is married. It is understood that she is not single, which means words like that, single, or a bachelor does not suit her. For the Iban example is asul and tarit, which means push and pull. Next, I'm going to explain about hyponymy. Hyponymy is the state that shows the relationship between more general terms and more specific instances of it. For example, animals. Animals are the superordinate, which means the higher level of hyponym, and the hyponym is horse, cat, and dog, which means horse is the hyponym of animals. Usually when it comes to hyponymy, it is described using a taxonomy. This is an example of taxonomy.
As you can see, the vegetable is on the highest hierarchy because it is general, which makes it the superordinate or hypernyms, and the hyponym is the grains, pulses, roots, and tubers. So on with the cabbage, spinach, which is called co-hyponym. This is what we call the taxonomy, which is a hierarchical diagrams for hyponymy.
Another example in Iban is buah, which means fruits, and that is the superordinate. And the hyponym is apple, means apple, anggur means grapes, and uri means orange. So apple is the hyponymy of fruits. I hope you understand what I was trying to explain. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Alya Binti Rozaimi, and my metric number is 145953. So now I will explain about three things, which are homonym, homophones, and polysemy. So firstly, I will start with homonyms. Homonyms are two words that are spelled the same and sound the same but have totally different meanings. The word homonyms come from prefix homo, which means the same, and suffix name, which means name. Therefore, a homonym is a word that has the same name as another word, meaning that the two words look and sound exactly alike or the same. I will give you one example for homonym in English language, which is trunk. Trunk means a part of an elephant, but another trunk means a large, strong case or box used to storing things. Now, I would like to give an example of homonym word for Iban language. Engkau. Engkau is defined as an in Iban language. However, engkau also known as we in the same language, which is Iban language. Here, we could recognize and understand the difference in the homonym in both English and Iban language. Okay, next, I will explain about homophones. Homophones are pairs of words that sound the same but have distinctly different meanings and different spellings. Understanding homophones is an essential part of mastering the English language, both for vocabulary building and also spelling. There are several homophones in English language that almost everyone gets confused at some point. The frequently confused homophones include accept or accept. Accept is a verb that means to take or to receive. Meanwhile, accept is used as a preposition or conjunction to mean but or exclude. Another interesting example that I will give is break or break. Okay, listen. When teaching my daughter how to drive, I told her if she didn't hit the brake in time, she would break the car's side mirror. So here, the first brake means a device for slowing a moving vehicle or stop a moving vehicle. Meanwhile, the second brake means smashed or shattered, or something got shattered into pieces. Homophones are often confused with homonyms. These terms are similar, but there are some important differences to consider. Next, I will explain about polysemy. Polysemy is distinguished from simple homonyms where words sound alike but have totally different meanings by etymology. Polysemous words almost always share the same origin or roots. Polysemy is the association of one word with two or more distinct meanings. And a polyseme is a word or phrase with multiple meanings. The word polysemy comes from the Greek for many signs. For example, the word good can be used for several meanings in different situations. I will give one sentence that will give you a clear definition of policeman. If a man were to shoot his grandmother at a range of 5,000 yards, I should call him a good shot, but not necessarily a good man. So here, the word good can be explained as someone is doing a great job, which refer for the previous example, the man is good at shooting. But it also explains the characteristic or personality of someone, which means the man is not a good person because he shot his grandmother. As in polysemy in Iban language is also similar to what I have explained before. For instance, ni. Ni in Iban language means what, but also means where. Another example is di, which means at and also on. So here, I hope my explanation can help you distinguish the difference of homonyms, homophone, and polysemy.
Okay, so I'm going to continue with denotation. What is denotation? Denotation can be explained as the literal meaning or precise definition that you would expect to find in a dictionary. So a good way to remember the difference between denotation and connotation, which is that the dictionary starts with the letter D, so does with the denotation. So that's how I differentiate between the denotation and connotation. So if we take a look for an example, the words cook and chef, if we see in terms of denotation, both of these would actually denote the same thing, which is someone who prepares food. But in terms of connotation, a chef has a connotation of someone being professional and accomplished, while a cook has a denotation of being someone who prepares food as an amateur or for friends and family. So this actively illustrates that those words have same denotation but with different connotation. Kena nunjuk ka contoh dalam jaku Iban. Aku milik jaku berapi, engkau nyumai. Dua itik leka jaku tu, mai reti ti sebaka. Ianya mandu asek. Tang berapi dikena lebuah berjakuk sehari-hari. Nyumai dikena berjakuk, engkau mereti.
Hi, we will moving on to connotation. Connotation is the use of word that will invoke a certain feeling and idea to suggest different association than its literal meaning. There are three types of connotation: positive connotation, neutral connotation, and negative connotation. Authors and writers, they often use different connotation to imply multiple layers of meaning into words, phrases, and sentences. Alright, positive connotation will make something turn into favorable thing when we use positive connotation. As for negative connotation, it will turn something into unfavorable light. And lastly, for neutral connotation will have no attachment towards positive connotation and negative connotation. These are examples of positive, neutral, and negative connotation. The first one, for positive connotation, slender. But if we see it in neutral connotation, it will turn into thin. But if we use negative connotation for thin, it will turn into skinny. These three examples, slender, thin, and skinny, each one of them invoke different type of feeling when we heard people say it, right? Alright, another example is unusual. Unusual is neutral connotation. If we use positive connotation, it will be extraordinary. When we hear extraordinary, we will think about something great, something boom and bombastic. But if we use negative connotation, it will turn into bizarre. When we heard the word bizarre, we will think something bad, something not really good, right? But in Iban language, we will often find positive connotation and neutral connotation, or we will find negative connotation and neutral connotation. For example, positive connotation and neutral connotation. Bahagia. Bahagia is positive connotation. Bahagia neutral connotation is maneh gamang. Another example is gadai-gadai. Gadai-gadai is positive connotation. When turned into neutral connotation, it will become lubah. And this one is the example of negative connotation and neutral connotation. For neutral connotation, hujan. If we use negative connotation, it will become kude. In Iban, when we heard about kude, we will feel afraid because the rain must be very heavily to the point that we can't do anything. It might be flooding soon. So, in conclusion, lexical relation is important for us to understand languages and human cognition, because lexical relation can help us to understand how words might be related to each other, and it also helps us to create reference points for the words, thus adding meaning to the language. Therefore, the importance of lexical relation is that it can speak volume about human cognition. That's all. Thank you. Bye.
Hello everyone, I am Alya and we meet again. So for part 2, my friends and I will be explaining about maxims, which is the principle, and also the violated maxim. So what is maxim? Maxims are or conversational maxim is a type of theory in communication that was proposed by Paul Grice in 1975. He implied that follow these 4 types of principle, which is first, quality, second, quantity, the third being manner, and lastly, relevance. They must follow up this principle in conversation in order to make the communication between the participants more effective and more relevant. So that is what is the background of maxims that was theorized by Paul Grice in 1975. Maxim can also be violated, flouted, or observed. But for this part, my group and I will be discussing about violated maxims. So violated maxims are: the violations of maxims takes place when speakers intentionally refrain to apply certain maxims in the conversation to cause misunderstanding on the participant part to achieve some other purposes. So for part 2, my friends and I will be explaining about this violated maxim in following up these 4 principles, and they will act up to show you the examples. So I will pass down to my friends to show you. Thank you.
Hey, fancy meeting you here. What are you doing? Oh, hey, what a fine day today, right? Look at the bird. Yeah. What a good day. Are you here to buy fresh vegetables for your mother? No, I'm just walking around and hey, look at it, kitty kitty cat. I guess I should mind my own business. So, see ya, bye. Huh? Okay, bye. What a weird person. So, did you get what happened? Which one of them is actually a weird person? Is it the first girl or the second girl? See, the maxim of relation was violated here. Someone who constantly violates the maxim of relation by responding with irrelevant utterances will have a bigger problem. They will simply be regarded as weirdo or at best very bizarre. Alright, based on your understanding about maxim of relation, the conversation must be responded with something relevant. So, after seeing this, who do you think is the weird person?
Wow, so many things at the market today. I need to get some fish and fruits maybe. Auntie, how much is this?
10 ringgit for a kilo.
Are they fresh?
What do you mean, girl? They just arrived this morning. I never took the fish if they are not fresh. You can see, right? The eyes are still not red. If you don't want to buy, just go to another stall. Well, that was the example for maxim of manner that has been violated.
When we talk about maxim of manner as we engage in conversation, the maxim of manner actually requires us to be perspicuous. Thus, there are 4 elements that have been mentioned in this maxim. So, the first one is we have to avoid obscurity of expression, which means we are supposed to avoid the language that will create difficulties for the listener to understand the information. For instance, maybe because it contains the words that the listener doesn't know. So moving on to the second element, which we have to avoid ambiguity. We should avoid ambiguous language, which actually can be interpreted in multiple ways, or it's not having one obvious meaning, or maybe it open to more than one interpretation. Yes, so this actually will make it more difficult for the listener to understand what actually you are trying to say. So next is to be brief. This actually illustrates that we should provide the information in a concise manner that allows the listener to focus only on the key details. And the last one is to be orderly. We are supposed to provide the information in an order that makes sense to the listener, and in order that can make the listener to process the information easily. So the conclusion is, without following these 4 elements that the maxim has been mentioned, so your maxim will be violated. To sum up everything that has been stated, the maxim of manner is related to how something is being said in the conversation compared to the other maxim, for example, maxims of relevance, as it focuses more on what is being said.
Come! New and fresh fishes you will ever see! Grab your chances now, ladies! Come. Hey, look at this fish! It's big and I think it might be suitable to cook with some soup. I like the color of its eyes. this? This squid looks fresh. Should I buy it? Wow, it got so many black ink. The crab looks good too. We should buy some for dinner tonight. Yeah, the green color of the crab's shell does look good. I think we will come back again soon. I'm sorry. Okay, so based on the acting scene you watched just now, there is something strange or wrong with the way the people in the video communicate with each other. And what is it? It is because the conversation just now violated maxim of quality by saying something that is not true. Maxim of quality could require statements that have enough evidence and needs to be true. It's simple. In maxim of quality, the speakers do not allow to make contribution containing lies or untruth in the remark that they made. However, based on the acting scene before, one of the females states something that she does not believe in, which means she told a lie. Female B may be implicating that she doesn't like the fishes or anything from the seller store. So she kept avoiding the question of female A when female A asked about the fishes or the squids or crabs that they sell there. But instead of telling the truth, female B kept answering with non-related stuff and with absolute nonsense. This is proven as female B kept violating the maxim of quality in their conversation. Thank you.
Excuse me, how much is the shrimp? Oh, the shrimp is only 20 ringgit per kilo. Oh, you want it? You cannot just look at it because you know what? I just caught this shrimp like this morning and I can assure you that they are the juiciest, plumpiest shrimp you ever find in any of this market. I'm the only one that sells this, the plumpiest one. Also, if you know, I think you want to do mukbang, right? You want to do mukbang because you want to do mukbang. You can try the king crab. The king crab, I got it 2 weeks ago. I mean, not to brag or anything, but 2 weeks ago is like the king crab season. Actually, so it's pretty near. Because king crab is like, they have only one season where we can catch them. Only one season. And I got that like 2 weeks ago. So you need to try that one.
I would love to, but
like if you don't want a king crab, if that's too much for you, you can just try this octopus. The octopus, my husband got them last night. There's so many of it. Like I said, it's just the season or it's just my luck. Or you can.
I'll take the shrimp.
Only the shrimp. 3 kilos, please. Okay. Shrimp. 3 kilos. Got it. Thank you. There's something wrong with the conversation just now. I'll tell you. Okay, so what happened is a maxim has been violated, and that is quantity. Why? Let me show you. First, the girl asked the seller how much the shrimp is. And well, the seller did answer, but then she proceeded to tell her other things, other information that the girl does not even need, because she only asked about the shrimp, but she proceeded telling things about the king crab, about when she caught it, about how juicy her shrimp is. I mean, I get it that she's trying to promote her selling, but you can see the girl is getting uncomfortable. So that's need to be avoided when you're having a conversation, because you have violated a maxim. Because quantity is when people ask question and you answer with more information but less effort, which means you don't go on to explain other things, because people usually when they ask question they doesn't need any background details of the things that they asked about. They want straight to the point answer, which is why from this conversation the maxim of quantity has been violated by the seller. That's all for me. Thank you.